Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. If you're looking for a cable with a 100-year warranty, literally a cable that will outlast you and possibly some of your children, depending on your age, look no further than sinusoid.com.
Yeah, and keep a lookout this month, Black Friday. They're going to be doing some crazy stuff. They haven't told me what it is. I just know it's going to be crazy because they told me it would be crazy. So keep your eyes and your ears open to see what they're going to be pulling on Black Friday. Maybe they're going to have a turkey leftover flavored guitar cable for all your turkey flavored guitar cable needs.
Sinusoid, they make cables.
And cable accessories that taste like turkey and or mashed potatoes. This episode is also brought to you by the Nocturne Brain. Go check them out at thenocturnebrain.com. They make all sorts of wonderful pedals and amplifiers. I recently did a demo of the Mystery Brain, which is basically like a Space Echo in a box. It's got the Space Echo preamp in there, and then an extra switch that gives you a bit of a boost. It opens up the dynamic range of the preamp, and then you've got a delay side of it that has a really wonderful sounding, kind of like tape echo, flirting with like a Memory Man sort of sound. There's like a deep like modulation on it that can get really freaky or really subtle. It just sounds good. It's a powerful stage tool that gives you a lot of options live. I'm really impressed with the thing. I've been playing with it for a while, and it's not going to leave my board for quite a while, I don't think, unless I have specific needs otherwise. So go check them out. Check out our demo. Big thanks to the Nocturne Brain. Hey, this is Ryan.
And this is Steve, and you're listening to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing, breaking, smashing, playing, fretting, stringing podcast.
Yeah. What are you going to do on the 200th episode, Steve? Are you going to fumble it or are you going to nail it? What's your plan?
I never know.
You never know? It's a surprise every time?
I had this one nailed, and then I thought I could throw something in off the cuff, and it
got
all went
up,
sideways.
Huh? Maybe at the 200th, we should get everyone to chant it with us.
That could be
fun, right? You think they'll all mess up the same way you mess up every week? I
feel like,
sound like I'm being a super dick to you right now.
I feel like we'd have to do it a lot slower to get everybody to chant it.
The guitar, buying, selling, trading, fixing, modding, breaking, reviewing, playing, podcast.
I think the real problem is playing was not in the original.
No, we didn't add it
slogan
in until much later, like the 14th or 15th episode.
So then I started, like, I had to remember, like, oh, there's one more. It's playing, and now the problem is playing is part of the integral like set to me. But after I hit playing, I always think that I forgot one.
All right. Well, now's a part of the show where you ask
Hey, Ryan, what's new?
What's new? I got these little things on the tips of my fingers that I ordered off of wish.com.
Did you get those from Crocs?
I did not get them from Crocs, but people are joking and saying that they are finger Crocs. They're those little rubber finger tip protector things that were going around on the internet a while back as like finger protectors for like your calluses if you're playing guitar a lot and you're like learning, and everyone made fun of them, as they rightly should, because these things are freaking ridiculous.
They're like silicone thimbles.
They look like I've got little shower caps on the ends of my fingers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they make me think of like those women's synchronized swimming bathing suits from like the 50s.
So these were only like $1 or $2 on Wish. So I was like, I'll get them and I'll make a video. Maybe I've got it up already. I don't know. But I'm going to say that right off the bat, I think they suck. They really, really suck. I don't like them at all, and I think they're stupid. I tried to play guitar with them earlier today, and it's just like fumble city. They catch on the strings. They don't slide on the strings. You can't feel the string at all, which I guess is what they're for, so you don't feel the string like pushing through your finger, through the sensitive tips of your finger. But it's
sensitive.
Like, it's just going to impede your playing no matter what. I think this is just a dumb idea. I bet these were manufactured for a completely different purpose, like people who need to thumb through books all day,
right?
Like paper.
That's actually probably exactly what they were.
But they got
for.
they got a warehouse full of them. Like, let's see if we can sell these to guitarists. They'll spend money on anything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the video just to make fun of them. But there's no practical use for these things. They're just garbage. They're not even comfortable. They're too tight on my big banana fingers.
Do they have different sizes, or was that
No, it was one size fit all. Ridiculous. All right, should we jump into our normal content? We've got nothing else to say, right? You got nothing new?
I got nothing new.
Just the same old life, huh, Steve?
Yup.
Just boring old regular Steve's life. Let's jump into an ad.
Just terrible.
Sorry. I'm being hard on you this week. I don't know why.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Did you say something?
This was sent to us by Tom McCann. It was posted on our Facebook group. It's a GFS body that's been reliced by Real Life Relics on reverb.com. These are pretty cool looking bodies. They're like a pink paisley.
How do you know it's from GFS?
Go to GFS and you can find it there.
All right.
Like in their clearance body section. I think they're like $68.
Okay.
I almost said $69, but I didn't want to deal with the jokes. But anyways, it looks very attractive in the reverb picture. It's like like I said, a pink paisley with a pink spray around the edge, and then what looks like a parchment pickguard on there with a nice looking bridge and an aged like output jack sort of deal for $229.99 plus $20 shipping. But like we said, they sell these bodies in new condition on Reverb, I mean on GFS, guitarfetish.com for $68 something.
Mm-hmm. I've seen those on there. I get the GFS emails all the time for, when they have sales and whatnot.
Do you think it's worth paying? What's the upcharge on this? $150? Somewhere
like around there.
Is it worth a $150 upcharge to have someone relic this and then throw, I'll say $50 of hardware at it?
Not
so it's a $100 upcharge.
I don't know if I'm just missing something, but I feel like the relic job isn't. I'm not gonna say it's a bad relic job if that's your deal, but I feel like it is underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of tasteful. It's just a little bit of chips and a little bit of roughness around the edges, from what I can tell from the pictures. But yeah, it's not like, wow, that looks really good. Like, it's not like they went and like sprayed it with nitro and let it get, like those freezer cracks and whatnot.
Right, right.
It just looks like someone attacked it with, a set of keys or something like that.
A chain or something.
Yeah, a chain. Or they like drug this behind their bike for a hot minute.
I was wondering how, aside from like looking at the thing going, oh, this looks just like the one off GFS. But in the listing, it does say that this is a Paulonia body, and Paulonia
that's
is
their jam.
That's GFS for sure.
No, if you go to gfs.com, you can find this body exactly. Tom, the guy who sent us the ad, actually owns the Telecaster version of this body. So that's one of the reasons he spotted this. He's like, hey, I know that. And leading to that, one of the reasons why I question the value of this versus getting a relic body from, say, like MJT or something like that,
sure,
is that GFS bodies have a reputation of, they're very affordable, $68 or whatever it is, but they have a reputation of not being routed quite to spec. And
right, you might have to make a very slight adjustment.
Yeah, like Tom said that with his Telecaster body, there was like a business card size gap in between his neck and the body. And then I've heard of neck routes actually being too small on them, or things being just a little too crooked so that they don't take pick guards in the right way.
You can get away with a neck route being a little too small.
Sure.
As long as it's square.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes things aren't perfectly square. And it's like, if you're buying a really low cost body or neck off of a site like this, you just have to be aware that you have to have a certain amount of ability and wherewithal to make the adjustments that need to happen to make it compatible with other parts. So is it worth paying an upcharge on a body like this when you don't know what it's going to be like just to get a relic body that looks cool? I mean, let's be honest. It looks cool, right?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
think it looks okay. It doesn't.
I could see you wearing a Paisley guitar for some reason.
I'm just saying, like, so this Relic job, maybe I'm spoiled. I might be spoiled. That red Telecaster I have has a little bit of a Relic job on it. It's always been
relic?
like that. Not intentional.
Hashtag natural relic.
Hashtag natural relic.
Yeah.
Hashtag red Telecaster. Hashtag Steve Rouse signature guitar.
That laugh sucked that I just did just now.
Yeah.
I heard it while I was doing it. I was like, why am I laughing like that?
Yeah, it wasn't even that good of a joke. What's wrong with you?
I'm like a pervert. All my laughs suck. Let's be honest.
Maybe it's just you.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's just me.
All right. Yeah, I just, it's not Relic like intentionally, but there's parts where it's, I don't know if the finish was bad, but it's like chipped off around here and there.
Sure.
It's always been like that. The pink paisley thing is whatever. Like, I guess it looks cool.
The only reason I couldn't have a pink paisley guitar like
it match your skin tone.
Exactly. It'd be impossible to edit video around. I'd be pink. The guitar would be pink. We'd all just be super pink.
Maybe that could be your shtick. Maybe that's the audience, the niche you need to fall into.
I have a pretty tough skin most of the time. Like, we get like cruel comments multiple times a day on YouTube videos, and I'm like entertained by most of them. But one time a guy was like, "Oh, you're really pink. Your skin's real pink." And then I felt self-conscious about my video editing. It's like, oh, I'm not color correcting right.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got
so it wasn't even actually about your skin. It was about your edits.
No, once I started looking, I was like, man, my skin is really pink. And then I felt a little self-conscious about it, but mostly just because like, oh man, this makes my editing harder. But recently I've been getting over it. I'm just like, yeah, my skin's pink. Deal with it. But I'm the only one who has to deal with it. I got pink skin, guys.
Well, and everybody who decides to watch your video.
Yeah, they have to deal with it too. It's better for me to be just the natural color I am in the videos and let everything else look okay. It's better if the guitar and the pedals and the amps look okay and I can just be pink. That's my philosophy on it anyways. Now, do we have anything else to say about this? Like, what do you think would be the fair price for a Relic job on a GFS body like this?
$68.
$68. You think it's a personal mod and that people shouldn't be charging an upcharge? I
mean, if you want to try to like use GFS as your brand's personal farm for whatever,
for your Relic farm,
I mean, that's your own deal, I guess. But like, I mean, let's be honest.
It's problematic because everyone knows what you're doing too.
Here's what I want. I want a video where this person has this guitar, like receives this body, sits it out, and makes a time lapse showing how much time they spent doing this. Because at $229, you're literally telling me that, like, I don't know, if you spent an hour doing this, that your skill and labor is worth $160.
It's funny to me, like, people who do Relic jobs are super secretive about their techniques. I tried to talk to one person once. I was like, "Hey, how did you do that? How did you do that thing?" And he was like, this and I took like a class and this and that. And I'm not going to tell you." It's like, dude, come on. You probably like glued a piece of gravel to a popsicle stick and just tapped at the guitar for a while. Like, come on, dude. Relax. Like, if you ask a guitar builder, like, "Hey, how do you set a neck?" They'll be like, "Oh, well, here's how you set a neck." You ask a Relic person, "Oh, how'd you get dings on the corner of the guitar?" And they'll like get all clammed up and be like, "Oh, I can't really reveal trade secrets."
I actually saw a really cool Relic job on the back. It was just a backside of a Gibson Les Paul. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Was it like a hole cut in it for you, a place where you put your wallet and your keys?
No.
Because that would be pretty cool.
Basically, the guy said that he forgot to take his pocket knife out of his pocket and like wore like a 1-inch hole like straight in the finish after like an hour-long set.
Whoa! No, there's no way he didn't feel that.
Well, like I guess he was he was feeling it, but he didn't know that it was like doing damage. And so I mean, he knew what it was, but it's like that's that classic like belt buckle rash and whatever deal.
Yeah.
Like I think there's ways you can maybe like fake that. But like that's what I'm saying with this. Like, okay, like realistically, okay, you bought it for $68. If you were selling it for like $100, $125, I'm like, okay, sure, why not? But $230, man, you better be doing something magical, and I'm just not seeing it.
I think if there was some sort of mention or guarantee that like, hey, this is a GFS body, not only did I relic it, I also fitted it with a neck and made sure everything lined up and this body is certified, ready to go. I think I'd be more open to it, you know?
Well, I wonder like if they're doing this, like how many times do they need to like return these things to people because they receive it and it's like, oh yeah, I slapped my strap neck on this and it didn't fit.
Didn't work right. That's a good question. Because that would be a huge bummer. You buy a body and like
bummer.
Your Mexican neck doesn't fit into it right, or like the bridge just doesn't quite fit in the route quite right. I look at this and like, there's some opportunity for a more creative like take on this. Like you could take this guitar and do like a gold spray around the edge and do like a gold with pink paisley sort of burst.
That would be cool.
Or like overspray it with black and then relic away like a thin layer of black so there's a little bit of pink paisley poking through spots. Things like that. There's ways to get more creative with this than what this person did.
I'm not particularly worried about creativity. Like I said,
it's all I think about, Steve.
I look at the pictures of this and I'm just like, somebody took somebody attached a 2x4 to this and drug it around their
It definitely doesn't look like a natural relic. There's too much relicking around the full edge of the guitar. That's just not natural.
I feel like most of the relicking is around the full edge of the guitar.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's particular. Like this is relicking through mismanagement, not relicking through trying to simulate play.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you know what there needs to be?
I think that's a big part of it. Is it's like you see like people complain about the Fender Road Worn series because every single one of them was the same because they wore them out with like robots. But at least like the wear and tear that they put on those guitars, you could look at it and be like, yeah, I could see how somebody would wear this thing like this. You know how you wear out a guitar to look like this body? You just drop it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my idea, Steve. You know how they have robots to test like car seats, and there's like a robo butt that sits down on the seat like 1,000 times a day and it simulates like years of use in like a week. Or like they have that robot at IKEA that closes the same drawer over and over again all day long every day, and they're like, look, the drawer still works and it's been going for 5 years. You know what I'm talking about? Like testing robots.
Yes.
They need to build a robot that just sits there and plays guitar and like moves around like a simulated stage, but does it over and over again all day long until you develop that nice natural relic. And maybe it's like wearing a shirt with like buttons on the sleeves or like a normal belt buckle, and just kind of just develops a natural relic over time, but it happens in a week instead of happening over decades, you know?
Yeah. You know, Ryan,
a robo relic. I'm talking about hashtag robo relics.
You know, Ryan, how sometimes there's robots and they're in disguise?
Yeah, you're talking about Transformers.
The ones that I was thinking of were called GoBots.
Oh, okay.
All right,
you want to give a guitar to a GoBot?
This topic was sent in by Kane Logue. He says he wants to know about alternatives to the stringed Ernie Ball volume pedal. Yeah, just get an Ernie Ball volume pedal and cut the string and replace it with a zip tie. Moving on.
Is that something that people do?
I saw that once.
Do you think the zip tie would grip to the little the spindle in there?
Apparently it worked, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't trust that, honestly. I've personally never had a string break on an Ernie Ball VP before, but I have had other things go bad on it. Like I had one that like developed a squeak, and then like the toe position started to get scratchy.
Weird.
And then the heel position like wasn't all the way off. I think like the string slipped on the spindle or whatever. And so I just stopped using it. But I gotta say, when they're in perfect working condition, there's no other volume pedal I've encountered that feels quite like an Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
They have just this perfect like smooth feel that I just haven't encountered elsewhere.
Are you still using your Morley volume?
No, I ended up getting the Dunlop mini volume / expression.
Oh, that's right.
Which I actually really like. If you put pressure on it from like the side, like you're not directly on it, then it'll feel like it sticks a little bit. But if you're directly on it and you adjust the tension just right, you can get a really smooth, almost Ernie Ball sort of feel out of it. Even though it's a mini pedal, by the way. But I've really enjoyed that pedal. I think it's way better than the Morley as far as like a tactile response.
I've been thinking
just
about
size convenience too.
I've been thinking about replacing my Morley just because of the size thing, because I only have like 11 pedals on my pedal board right now, and of course I need more.
Yeah, you could fit an extra one up there.
So that's a thing I've been thinking about. But actually, I've been pretty happy with that Morley. It does have still. I never really found a taper modification that I was happy with, so I just went with I just stayed with the stock modification or the stock taper and kind of got used to it.
The nice thing about like the Dunlop Mini and others is that they don't require power either.
Right.
Where the Morley does require power to
light those LEDs because it's optical.
But if seriously though, optical is so good, it's such good technology, but if Morley modified the little keyhole in there that the LED light passes through to be a smooth taper instead of this jumpy stupid taper they have in there.
Yeah, I don't.
And then
get it.
they made the pedal as small as the treadle that's on there because it's got this big massive piece of metal sticking out the side for no reason. That pedal is empty.
Did you ever open that thing up?
It's empty inside. There. They could make that pedal a third the size of what it is and still have tons of room inside. But if they made it but like be smaller and have an audio taper similar to an Ernie Ball, I would recommend it all day. But it's just like kind of its own problematic thing.
Do you know what the drive system is on the Dunlop Mini?
It's hard to explain. It's like this tension bar that presses against. It's not like a Crybaby where there's a gearworks going on,
right?
But there's two pots that are connected by like a big like plastic barrel in between them, and then there's a piece of plastic that has stiff tension against that, and there's no gears to it. It's just all friction.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So it's like a really unique mechanical system in there, but then it's still connected to just pots,
right? Because I think it's the Dunlop Volume X. Is that the DVP one?
I don't know.
I don't remember. One of the Dunlop models I think is chain drive.
Oh yeah.
So it's like similar to like the Ernie Ball in principle, but instead of using a string, they have like a chain.
Yeah.
Like it's like a tiny version of a bike chain, something like that.
I mean, any physical part could break eventually.
Yeah. If you're looking at more expensive options, I think it's Tapestry Audio makes one called the Bloomery.
Yeah.
And that's like a direct drive.
The Bloomery is really popular with praise and worship types.
That's
it's
got a pretty small footprint.
Isn't it like $200?
Something like that.
It's crazy expensive.
Cheaper than the tuner modded Ernie Ball VP Junior.
Yeah, but when you think about those, there's two. I spent a lot of time talking to Roman from Schnobel Tone because he's the one who makes those.
Yeah.
I talked to him at Summer NAMM, and he was like, yeah, people complain about the price, but it's like, I have to buy both components. And then I have to take my time, use my labor time to combine them. So it's like, it's going to be expensive. It's like he has to buy the tuner and he has to buy the pedal. And before TC started including a buffer in their new tuner pedals, he had to put his own buffer circuit in there for the mod.
So you're telling me that this guy was buying like an $80 volume pedal and like, I don't know, like an $80 tuner pedal. And then he was taking like metal cutting tools and cutting holes in the volume pedal and dismantling his tuner pedal and putting it together. And somehow that's supposed to be worth an extra $200.
Is it an extra?
Is that what you're telling me,
Is it
Ryan?
an extra $200?
Ryan Burke.
How much do those go for?
Like, I thought they were like $365.
It's possible. Even if it is, that's worth the effort. He does a really freaking clean job of those. It's tough to cut metal.
Ryan.
Have you ever tried to cut metal?
Yeah, I use my bare hands.
And you cut it with your bare hands? Karate chopping, huh? Damn, dude.
What can I say?
No, I get the price that he charges.
I'm powered by whiskey.
If Ernie Ball or TC Electronic decided to do that in-house, they would be able to cut the cost dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'd be starting with the raw materials and making it the like starting out that way, you know, instead of cutting holes and combining two different products that have to be paid retail to obtain. Like, he's paying retail for those things to get the components. It's crazy. Are there any other big options out there right now? JHS claims they're still working on the Seesaw.
Yeah, apparently they had to take it off their website because their dealers wouldn't leave them alone.
Yeah.
The other one I wanted to talk about, we've talked about them before on the show, is Classic Audio Effects.
Oh yeah, the roller.
The roller wheels.
I've never tried one of those, like, while playing. I've always wondered how quickly I would adapt to them.
A lot of people said that they take some time, but once you get used to it, it's just as natural as using a regular volume pedal. I think it's really all about taper. If the taper is something that you can get used to, then it's going to be fine. If the taper is something that you struggle to get used to, then you're always going to struggle with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the downside is you probably have to pay a little more attention about where you're stepping, because it's not, you know, with at least a full size or a mini size volume pedal, the fulcrum or lever or whatever, is it lever? The lever is like the size of your foot.
Yeah.
But in the case of the Classic Audio rollers, it's a smaller target, and you have to be more conscientious.
Yeah, I mean,
of where you're stepping.
With like a traditional style volume pedal, like, you can kind of lay your weight against it, and you're still standing on 2 feet as you're using it. I always wonder with the roller system if it's more difficult, because you have to put all your weight on 1 foot, and you can't put any weight on the pedal, really.
Right. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah. You know what kind of taper I just can't get into as far as like using for like my guitar rig?
Logarithmic.
No, the tapers they have at the zoo, like those big animals, just can't use those with my rig. It's too difficult.
Thanks, Dad.
Can't get used to it, you know? I am a dad, so I got to make dad jokes every now and then. If I don't, I'll die. You can't. They're like farts. If you hold them in, you'll poison yourself.
I thought if you hold them in, they just turn into burps.
No, come on. Who's making dad jokes now? Come on, Steve.
All right, this next ad was sent by Chris Carter, who we also featured last episode.
We're ripping through the ads. We're going to run out of show pretty soon.
This is a Tokai super rare vintage set neck Tokai Love Rock Relic Condition TV Yellow. No joke. Relic Condition. Holy smokes. This thing's taking some hits.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
He says, super rare vintage set next Tokai Love Rock model Les Paul Jr. Relic Condition TV Yellow with all natural, honest playwear, 22 frets, blah, 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 whatever. Appears to be all original. Note, solid stable headstock repair, low action, straight neck, truss rod works. Not new, not mint, not perfect vintage relic condition.
So the jury was kind of split on this on the Facebook group.
$400, $35 shipping.
People were saying that if it's a Japanese one, then it's a good one. If it's a Korean or Chinese one, then it's just worthless. And people were saying that it's probably not Japanese. So I don't know what worthless actually means because nothing is actually worthless.
Sure.
Does worthless mean $100? Does it mean $200? Does it mean $50? Because to me, I think this thing looks like a lot of fun. I really like the look of it. I've always wanted a simple like LP Junior single P90 TV yellow
Yeah.
Les Paul, and this thing checks all those boxes. I even like the headstock because it's a lawsuit era direct ripoff of the Gibson scroll, but then it says Tokai instead of Gibson, which I think I actually prefer to saying Gibson. And it's got a really nice, just beat up look to it. And I saw that neck crack in the photos and I was like, oh no, that headstock is going to fall off any day now. But it's an already repaired headstock crack, so it's going to last forever. I don't know. I really like the look of this. I probably would make a lowball offer on it if I was actually interested. I'm just wondering what that lowball should be realistically for it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. The serial number on this starts with a CH. It's CH1, blah, 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 which is where a lot of people say, like, oh, well, the CH stands for China. And apparently that's...
sometimes that sort of stuff is true for serial numbers, and sometimes it isn't. So... I don't know. Like just because there's, a certain letter in a serial number doesn't always mean that that's where it's from.
Right. And
but
this
I'm
is
not
one,
an expert on this.
This is one case where it's not really clear. Apparently, some of them will say, I guess the Japanese ones will say MIJ on them or made in Japan. Korean ones will say made in Korea. So there actually apparently is an issue with these these guitars even being counterfeited. Like apparently Tokais are popular enough that people can counterfeit them, which is interesting. Like,
well, we saw last episode that people are making 3-neck Ibanez's for $290, so anything's possible.
But a lot of people are saying that their MICs start with HC as well, or some, HC or FC or different things like that. But
always a C.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. I would say like I know the particularly desirable Tokais are the older Japanese ones. I think because this is like a relic job, or at least they say it's a natural relic, you want to think it's an older one, but that isn't necessarily true.
You think it could be a fake relic? You think that's what they're saying?
I don't think it could be a fake relic. I just think it could mean that somebody got it and they played it really hard. And, if you play something hard enough, I suppose.
To me, it doesn't look like a faked relic because parts of it are uglier than what a relic person would do. Right. Like you've got this weird like water damage on the arm bit here, and this neck crack is not the kind of neck crack that a relicer would do to make it look like, oh, it snapped. I
don't think that's a part as a relic.
No, but like other parts of it just don't look like, oh, someone in a garage with a file in it and a little tiny like hammer did this intentionally. It looks like actual playware. And for $400, yeah, that might be more expensive than this guitar's worth, but that's not professional relic money. I don't know. There's something alluring about it to me, and I want to defend it for some reason. I don't plan on buying it, but I feel an emotional attachment to it.
I just found one place that says that the CH serial actually could indicate Korea, which again, like you're kind of in that space there where it's like the made in Japan is really the desirable desirable collectible instrument there. So
if this isn't a fake relic on this, the fact that it's so worn in says something to me about its playability. To
Sure.
me, it says that someone played this for a long time and loved playing it,
Right.
which says something to
I'm
me.
not, I'm not
about this
saying it's
guitar.
about a guitar. I'm saying,
No, of course
I'm
not.
asking the question, is this worth $434?
Right. I feel like if I was going to be serious about buying this, I'd probably start by offering like $275. That's where my gut is right now.
Okay, you would start at $275. So what are you thinking? $350 top? $325?
$325 before shipping, so $350 out the door.
Okay.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Am I screwing myself on this guitar that
I don't think you're
hypothetically
gonna, I don't
buying?
think you're going to get it.
I'm not going to buy this guitar. I'm just
It's on
saying
Reverb still.
hypothetical situation.
It's
here.
currently on Reverb. You could get this.
I know. I'm just not
Hey,
going to.
if I make an offer on it, will the podcast pay me back?
If you make content with it,
How much content?
enough to make it worthwhile, you think you can earn that back in YouTube plays?
No. That's like 290.
Because I did that with the Epiphone SL, Steve. I'm just saying I made that $99 back in YouTube plays. I'm just saying
you only had to get 99,000 views.
That's the bar, Steve.
You're asking me to get 350,000
That's
views.
the bar. You got to hit the bar if you're going to play this game, you know? What are we on a topic now? Are we going to tackle a topic?
Yeah, this topic is spin-off podcast.
Oh, yeah. Who asked this? Was it Clifton?
I don't know.
I think it was Clifton. Yeah, asked us to talk about all the spin-off podcasts that came from our show. And what I got to say is, like, when you think of a TV show spin-off, like, what's an example? You're thinking of a show where the characters in it came from the original show. Like Frasier's a spin-off of Cheers. Like there's other spin-offs out there. I just can't think of them. You know, like Deep Space Nine is kind of a spin-off of Star Trek Next Generation because you got O'Brien, you got Worf in there. You got various characters making appearances. It's kind of a spin-off. It happens in the same timeline. I don't think of any of the podcasts that kind of came out of our community are actual spin-offs. Not even the Gear Slum where they started out as 60 Cycle Slum.
Well,
because
okay.
None of those people, they came from our group, but they didn't come from our show.
You know what I mean? I mean, sure, but I don't think they're asking like, oh, what's a spin-off? Like,
no, of course not.
They're asking like, you know, of podcasts that we inspired.
What I'm trying to, it may sound like I'm being like exclusionary or like a gatekeeper, like being arrogant in a way. But what I'm actually
What I'm
actually trying to say is that these people have their own shows and started their own shows.
Oh, it's actually,
and it has like, they did it under their own, like, you know, their own personal powers and strengths and feats of will. And
it was actually Michael Newman. He said, how many podcasts will spin off from yours? And are you a spin-off of something else?
We're not a spin-off of anything.
I thought we were a spin-off of Six String Bliss.
No, I didn't. I think I listened to like half of one of their episodes. Hey guys, sorry I said that if you're listening. They started. They had 2 new episodes back in the early summer, late spring.
I like to think of this podcast as a spin-off of Judge John Hodgman.
Well, that's actually more realistic because we were
my brother, and
we
me.
were both listening to like entertainment comedy podcasts when we came up with the premise of this show, and we kind of structured it after those podcasts instead of structuring it after gear podcasts that existed before us.
Right.
So in that sense, maybe certain podcasts have spun off of us in that way where they follow more of an entertainment lead, I guess. But I just don't think of like podcasts like the Clifton Worley Show or the Gear Slum or even the Practical Guitarist, which is David Hill and Jim Woodward.
Right.
Which is a brand new one. You guys should go check that out. I don't think of them as spin-offs, even though those people came out of like our online community. Maybe they're spin-offs in the way where like they heard us, you know, a couple of chuckleheads sitting around goofing off.
Right.
And they're like, hey, if they can do it, so can we. You know
what I've been really enjoying, I don't know if you've checked them out yet, is the Tone Jerks.
The Tone Jerks?
Yeah, it's Brian Gower's podcast, which it has more of like a local, it's got more of a local flavor, and he's coming from a player perspective. But I've actually
I haven't listened to that
they've
one.
only put out, I think, 2 episodes. If their third one's out, I haven't listened to it at the time of this recording, but they might have a third one out. But they, so his first episode was just him and Kyle, the two, both in the band Playing Without a Pilot.
Right.
Just kind of talking about what their show's going to be about, and their gear. And then the second episode, they interview. It's actually funny because they interview a guy named BJ Jesbera, who played at the Park Gallery.
Yeah.
He did one of the shows I put on there.
Cool.
So that was funny in a small world sort of way. So yeah, I've been listening to that show. I've been enjoying it.
What are like other podcasts that are in our community? But I mean, there's Tone Mob.
99% Invisible.
They're not. They don't know that we exist.
This American Life.
Shut up.
Serial.
Yeah, Serial. Yeah. When they heard our show, the folks over at Serial were like, you know what, we could do this. Let's start our own podcast.
I think my favorite 60 Cycle Hum spinoff podcast. Song Exploder.
You're being ridiculous, Steve. The scotch got in you. You're all full of scotch.
No, so realistically, I guess I think you named off all the ones that people might think of as being tangentially related to us.
Sure. I mean, like we started a show, and then people who listened to our show started their own podcasts. And it makes me proud every time one of our listeners starts their own show. I think that's really exciting.
Do you listen to all of the spinoff shows?
I try to. I don't listen to them all every week.
Quote spinoff shows.
I don't have time to listen to very many podcasts.
There's too many of them.
There's so many of them.
Stop.
And then there's, like I said, there's Tone Mob, and then I think Ruffian show spun off of that. Isn't that how it worked? Like
I don't know. Blake
interviewed is Daniel, right? Mm-hmm. Blake interviewed Daniel, and then Daniel was like, I'm going to start a podcast. This is
that
like
the story?
Fun. Yeah, I think so.
You know what show I really liked, though he hasn't put anything out in a while, is the Common Ground podcast.
I don't know if I'm familiar with
which
that one.
was Josh Marmon's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But that was more of him just kind of interviewing people.
Yeah.
Like interviewing people that he knew. And so it wasn't really gear-oriented, but it was someone from our community. I think, God, I've been talking about myself a lot at work lately.
I believe you.
And because I think I'm really good at my job.
Of course.
And we're in like a bit of a crisis mode.
You're just sweeping in to save the day.
That's what I do.
Day saver Steve over here.
So anyway, people have been like, oh, what would you do about this? And what would you do about that? I'm like, well, this is what I would do. And I'm the best.
I imagine you wearing a leather jacket.
Dude, I wish
at work. But it's like a leather lab coat.
There are days where I wish I had, oh my gosh, a white leather lab coat would be the best.
And you got like biker boots on and your hair's slicked back.
Yes. I've never slicked back my hair ever.
I'm trying to imagine what it would look like.
I mean, I've done it like at home in the mirror. It looks like garbage.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we should slick. I mean, this is after us recording it, but pre it airing. Maybe we should slick our hair back for the 200th episode.
Dude, the 200th episode is on a Saturday. You'll be lucky if I like look at myself in the mirror before I get there. But anyway,
so do you think we'll have any more shows spin off of us? Do you think there's room for that?
I don't know. I mean, I think the thing that we brought to the table in the gear community wasn't so much. I mean, there's an approach, and there's the niches. Oh, we're talking about used gear and whatever. But I think really the thing that it was is we did like a ton of episodes.
Yeah.
And eventually, I think there were people who were like, "These two idiots,
they're not going away.
They will not leave us alone. If these two schmucks can get enough traction to start their own Facebook group, then maybe I could do this too."
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's what it is. I think we give people confidence because we come across as like this is casual and we don't have to work too hard at this. And we honestly don't. The things that involve a lot of work for me anyways are like extra things I've come up with to do surrounding the show as far as like doing demo work and whatnot. Like doing the podcast itself is really simple. And it's been pretty neat. Like as we get older, like older men and dads and husbands,
listen to more.
Like
you listen to more Jan Banamassa.
It's harder and harder to like spend time like socializing. And this is going to get mushy. Maybe we need to have like a little mushy moment leading up to the 200th episode.
Gross.
It's been really nice for me to have like a dude hangout time like every other week when we podcast.
Thanks.
I know. Yeah. It's sweet, right? No, but it is like, it is hard as like an adult male who has a kid and, you know, a career and a wife and everything to...
You've just earned poor number 3.
to make time for social stuff. And I think it's great that we get to hang out into our adulthood, you know, Steve? Yeah. We used to do bands together and hang out and have parties and stuff. And it's a different time in our life now.
I've been getting that itch again. I don't have time.
To party?
No,
to be in a band?
To be in a band. I don't have time.
I've been thinking about home recording stuff.
I'd have to like cut some big stuff out to find time to
I play like one show every 3 months and I don't know how I do it. But, really the reality of what we need to do is we need to put together a praise and worship supergroup.
Oh my.
And stop playing for our churches and just become like a hired band.
Yeah, Ryan, the problem is if we put together a praise and worship supergroup,
none of us will be in it.
Neither of us would be in it.
That's really the truth.
Who's gonna sing in our praise and worship supergroup?
Not me. We know enough people. We could gather talent together and make something happen. But if we got people who are too talented, they'll definitely kick us out of the band.
Yeah, Ryan, we're in San Diego. There's already a praise and worship supergroup. His name is Phil Wickham.
Oh man, I haven't heard anything about him for a while, but I don't actually like go seeking out information about praise and worship people.
Philip.
So this topic went off the rails. It was a little bit, you know, like patting ourselves on the back and talking about ourselves, but who cares? We almost done 200 episodes of a podcast that realistically barely makes us any money. Doesn't pay us for our time. It's like puts some, you know, fun money in our pockets every now and then. And it's worth it to reflect every now and then. We're getting up close to 200. Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I think the fastest way to find out about other podcasts that are similar to ours is to join the Facebook group. You jump on Facebook, search for 60 Cycle Hum. You're looking for the group, not the page. Jump in and just be like, hey, so what other podcasts do you guys recommend that are similar to 60 Cycle Hum?
Yeah, why not? Do we want to hit this last ad? Maybe, huh? Should we like debate whether or not we're going to do one more ad?
Yeah, let's do this ad. This ad is
it's for the Spice Pedal by Honda. I think.
Yeah, this was sent by
Honda Soundworks.
Brenton Selassie posted this. It's by Honda Soundworks. It's called the Spice Guitar Effects Pedal. It's up for sale for $260 on eBay.
It sounds so fancy when you pronounce it like that.
Well, I'm a fancy guy. I'm drinking scotch. So that's how you know I'm fancy. I'm wearing a flannel.
Oh, fancy pants over here, Steve. I'm surprised you'll even share the room with me. Dude, you're so fancy.
This flannel, it's from Quicksilver.
That is fancy. And, oh my goodness, a name brand. I couldn't tell you what brand my flannels are. I just fetched them out of the garbage, Steve.
I've owned a few flannels. I've been thinking lately that I need to go find... this was gifted to me, like Christmas or whatever, and I've been thinking like, yeah, you're right. It's a brand, so I don't like spending money on anything.
Yeah,
except gear.
Yeah, you love spending money on gear.
So much money. No, I mean, I spend money on food and booze, and that's about it.
Yeah,
and mostly food.
Yeah,
very little booze.
Burritos.
Thank you, Beavis. But I've been actually thinking lately, like, I need to go hunt down more of these flannels, even though I've had this for like 3 or 4 years. In the last, like, since the weather's turned cool enough to start breaking out flannels, I've been thinking like, man, like I need to stock up on these because I think in previous fall winters, I have worn this like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I need some color variety. And I think people catch on.
I stocked up on it's like the light. Yeah, it's like the light flannel. I stocked up on those at Costco a couple of years ago. But I kind of like they have shrunk up, I think, or I outgrew them. But I've actually been getting skinnier over the years. So I think they shrunk up on me. Because like the sleeves are too short and the body, the torso is too short on me. I need to invest in some new flannels. Because those light flannels are like, they're just right for San Diego in the winter.
Yeah.
They're just light enough to like give you a little bit of warmth, but they breathe a little bit.
This one's on the heavier side of light, but I still really like it.
Yeah.
It's not quite heavy enough
How
to be like a mid.
did we get on this topic? Why are we doing this? What is this, Steve? What does this have to do with guitars?
I'm not really sure.
We started talking about a pedal, and then you... What did you just do, Steve? How did we end up here? Like, rewind the tape.
You're just going to have to listen back to this episode.
What mind trick did you just pull? Have we been talking about flannels all night?
I hope so. This is a Honda Soundworks Spice guitar effects pedal. It's $260. It's on eBay. Oh, it's probably because you said I said something fancy.
Oh yeah,
eBay.
It's on eBay.
I was reading about these, and this is the dumbest thing.
They're a classic troll pedal.
It's not a troll. I think it's real.
You think it's real? It can't be a real.
So basically, this was a at least the pitch on these. Maybe it's a troll.
Oh God. Okay. Well, put the pitch on me. I want to hear the pitch.
The pitch on these was that basically. So what this pedal is, the picture is an open case, and inside there are 2 jacks that are just connected to each other. But I did a little reading, and basically
tell me about the crystal lettuce
and maybe. The cactus lettuce? What?
The crystal lettuce? The haunting mids? What does it have?
Apparently the wires that connect these 2 jacks together are from like a vintage Neve console.
No.
So basically...
Come on.
So the idea, right? The idea, again, I don't know if this was... I don't know if this is real because this is like an older pedal, and I couldn't find that much information.
These things get pulled up every now and then on gear forums as a joke.
But the pitch, the selling point on these was, that the wires that are used to connect these 2 jacks were part of some vintage console from like the classic era of rock and roll. So if you want that classic era of, you want to nail that tone on Led Zeppelin 4 that was recorded on this classic console, you got to get this pedal that...
You're not going to get it without 3 inches of wire.
It's not... Dude, 3 inches? Yeah.
I'm saying 3 inches cut in half.
Right. It's 1.5 inches on the lead and 1.5 inches on the ground.
Exactly. You don't really even need that ground. You could ground to the case.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a real thing, but I can tell you that was a pitch.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. And it's $260, 2 views per hour. That's impressive. But yeah, it's just a big old joke. There's no way anyone actually buys these.
Apparently this was like a pretty... I guess this was like a fairly legendary thing. I'd never heard of it.
Hey, if you really want to get the tone that the Beatles had on Abbey Road, you got to go to the studio and you got to take the electrical wire out of the walls and use that for your power cable, because you're just not going to get that tone without using the same exact like copper wire that was used to route the power around the building.
Right. You want that Hendrix tone? You need 3 inches of wire out of a Hendrix coily cable.
Actually, if you want that tone, you really want that legit like Woodstock tone. And I'm talking the tone everyone had at Woodstock. You got to track down the same generator they were using to power the PA at Woodstock. And you got to get the same leaded gas they were using, or you're just not going to get that tone. Come on. Ridiculous.
Can you even get leaded gas anywhere?
No, it makes people crazy. That's where all the serial killers came from.
Have you ever you've seen that graph, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
The decline in crime rates.
Yeah. No, I totally believe it. Like, I know that like correlation isn't causation, but lead legitimately makes people go crazy.
I don't think it makes them go crazy. It just makes them stupid.
And it was in all the gas, and you had this huge crime wave that coincided with like the use of this gas in the cities. Like you had these huge crime waves that took place in the cities where people were locked into smog all day long. I don't know. I don't have problems with that theory. I think it's a sound theory. I want to cover one more ad just quickly before we get out of here.
All right, I got to write this down. It's not on my notes.
I want to talk about this SNEK guitar that Bruce Kumquat sent. We've seen SNEK guitars before. This isn't the ugliest SNEK guitar I've ever seen, but it's not really cool or interesting. The thing about it that's wild is that it's sold. It's listed as sold.
What?
For $125 on Facebook. Someone bought this SNEK guitar. Go look at a picture of it in our show notes. Someone bought this with their money and was like, oh, I know. I'll buy that SNEK guitar. That's a good idea for my SNEK themed band.
You know what though, man? As far as SNEK guitar goes,
it's not the worst.
This is one of the better looking ones I think that we've seen.
It is not the worst. People are not going to notice a SNEK guitar until they're right up on it, though. It's a little subtle. They're just going to think it's a weird shape.
Is it? I think it looks just like a King Cobra.
It does. You are definitely getting the variety of snake from this thing.
It's got scales.
Yeah. That's the criteria Steve looks for in animals before deciding if it's a snake or not. It's long and it doesn't have legs and it's crawling around on the ground. But is it a snake? Let's look at that skin. Let's get up on it. It looks like scales to me. I think this might be a snake.
On a scale of snake to tube rat.
On the scale of snakes to not snakes, snakes have scales. There's so many other things that have scales too, Steve, like justice.
All right. Thanks again to our sponsor, the Nocturne Brain, makers of the Mystery Brain.
They make pedals that are just tone monsters. Like lots of other pedals are just buried in features, all sorts of like MIDI controls and who cares, digital things inside of them making the computer sounds. These are just honest to goodness, like well-designed tone monster analog pedals. Maybe some, like, I think the delay has a digital component to it, but they just sound incredible. They nail the tone of what they're trying to nail. Like I said, I've been using the Fez for a long time now. It's all over my recordings for my band. I'm a big fan of everything they do. Go check them out. Also, big thanks to Sinusoid.
Sinusoid.com. They make cables.
And Smiles. Keep an eye on their socials for that Black Friday fun stuff. It's coming up real quick.
All right. This song is sent to us by Nick in Asheville. He's in a band called Ouroboros Boys.
I was wondering which Nick it was, but when he said Nick in Asheville, he's in Asheville?
Yeah.
I knew exactly which Nick he was.
Did you really?
About. No.
Okay, so he's in a band called Ouroboros Boys. He says they play that reverb, blade, and weirdo surf intro.
Cool.
That draws from everything from Santo and Johnny to Hawkwind.
Oh, you know what? I rarely do this, but I saw that description in the email header. Mm-hmm. I was like, I got to check this out. And I actually listened to the song, and it's really freaking cool.
So here's the fun thing. He says that if you like it and feel like sharing it on your podcast, please do. Here's a link to the Bandcamp page and a video we did a while back. So I believe the song we were linked to is called Bikini Atoll. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anything else is available on their Bandcamp, so I'm going to say, Ryan, you're dealer's choice on this if there's anything else. Otherwise, you will be hearing the song Bikini Atoll from Ouroboros Boys. I was really interested in it. Actually, he commented on our Facebook page asking about surf rock, which one of us was in a surf rock band. I said, oh, Ryan's in a band called Dino Ghost. Back and forth. And he's like, oh, I'm in this crazy, whatever, mandolin meets.
Yeah, that was
Whatever.
the crazy thing about it. It's like there's mandolin in this surf rock band, and it totally works.
Yeah, and I was just like, sure, man, that sounds great. Send us something we can play. Send us some info. So if you want to get your song on the show, we only have 2 left. 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com. Maybe you submitted before. That's cool. Submit again.
Yeah,
with
do
a
it again.
different song.
Yeah, different song, guys.
So if it was the same song, we wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't catch it at all.
And don't even think you're trying to pull a fast one on us because we don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Later, guys.
So you had 2 Orlando sunshine's one Marshall Lee. Perhaps the top tune of the week, you might say, out here on the tiny isle of Monterey.